Well, what is happening? I am gonna just hop on and chat about some of the key fitness mistakes that I made um, throughout my time training and throughout my fitness journey. So, a little bit of background: I have been training for 10 years. I started when I was 16, and it was only past there in June of this year that I actually took the next step and got my professional certification up at Elite Fitness Performance Academy Belfast. Fucking best place you can do it in the country. So even that was an eye opener. So after 10 years of training, I learned so much up there, and I actually realised I was still making a lot of mistakes that I now have overcome and corrected. So this video is really just going to talk about the key mistakes that I made as a beginner and even as an intermediate. So I would honestly say one of the biggest mistakes I ever made was not following a proper, effective program. The biggest I had a tendency when I was younger to hop between programs, not consistently stick to programs. Even when I was doing a solid program, I would only do it for a few weeks and then I would lose interest. Not only just that, I had a tendency to think of myself as a chef rather than a cook and tinker and tailor about with programs which were designed by people who knew a hell of a lot more than I did at that point. Like, imagine following a powerlifting program or a strength training program. Imagine following a program designed by, say, someone like Mark Rippetoe, Jim Wendler, and thinking, you know better than them, I'm going to add in this exercise, I'm going to stop doing that, I'm not going to do this, so I'll add in that. It's kind of, well, I wouldn't say it's arrogant, but it's certainly ignorant. And I thought I knew better, and of course, it slowed my progress down immensely and stopped me from really making the sort of progress I should have made probably within the first 5 years of my training. A second mistake that's closely tied into this is not doing certain exercises or movements. Gonna be honest with you, I did not do a barbell back squat at least the first year of my training, maybe even nearly 2 years into training. I was focused on bodybuilding programs, which really were my bread and butter back in the day, and a lot of the fitness knowledge that I gained initially within the first 2 years of training was based exclusively on bodybuilding programs and bodybuilding websites, bodybuilding.com. Not the shit on bodybuilding, but it just wasn't for me, and it's just not always, you can't just operate in a sort of narrow, myopic field and think, oh, bodybuilding is the be all and end all when it comes to fitness, because it really isn't. It is merely only one facade of fitness. And I neglected a lot of key movements, obviously in the barbell back squat. The barbell back squat is one of the most effective exercises you can do for developing muscle, developing strength, power, improving athletic performance, fat loss, and even for health and longevity. I think deadlifts as well was something I neglected early in my training experience, but I quickly realised that the key to getting stronger, the key to building muscle, the key to getting fitter and healthier was to really focus on the big compound movements: your squat, deadlift, overhead press, bench press. And I would add in maybe hip thruster there as a fifth big movement there. So another key mistake I made in my fitness journey was I didn't eat enough food. Now, this, of course, really applies to fellas who are looking to gain size. Now, it does apply, there are girls who want to bulk up too and build muscle, and you also need to take into consideration that you have to eat a lot of calories and a lot of protein to really create new tissue in your body. People don't realise what it actually takes to build new muscle tissue, actual new tissue on your body. You imagine 20 pounds of muscle, what that looks like in a butcher's. You imagine trying to add that to your body. Like, the process that has to take place for that to occur it's mind blowing. So it does take a lot of effort, consistency, and dedication. And there's times early when I started off, when I was only 9 stone, where I was stuffing food down me, taking protein weight gainer shakes. And there was times it was uncomfortable and I didn't like it, and it was like I was just sick of eating so much food, so much calories. I learned along the way there was easier ways to go about it, more effective, simpler ways to go about it. For example, eating more nutrient-dense food, eating more liquid calories, extra virgin olive oil is your friend, adding it to protein shakes, eating more peanut butter, just wee tricks and tips like that, which are good for helping you put on size and getting calories in. And that also relates to another thing. Another key mistake I made with nutrition was I didn't eat enough nutrient-dense foods. And what I mean by that is I just didn't eat vegetables. I didn't eat enough green leafy vegetables full of essential minerals and vitamins. And people don't realise that if you don't eat those foods, you're going to be deficient in those nutrients, and they really can hinder your progress in terms of building strength and muscle and fat loss as well. Eating junk food, eating junk calories really does not serve you, your body or your mind any real purpose. So to move on then, another key fitness mistake I made was really being too fixated, at least initially anyway, on external outcomes rather than internal goals that were more fulfilling. So when I started my fitness journey, when I started training, I did start to train purely for external validation, purely to look good for girls, for the opposite sex, and for just self-gratification. There's definitely a lot of vanity involved, there's definitely a lot of egoism involved. But what I discovered was that once I achieved the physique I wanted to achieve and achieved the look I wanted to achieve, my perspective on training and health and fitness drastically changed. It went from being one of sort of being self-centered, looking good for other people, to I truly enjoy this training, I truly enjoy the journey I'm on, the process it takes to build a strong, lean, fit body. And I became more focused on performance goals and the way I felt rather than the way I looked, and how I performed in the gym. Was I getting stronger in all the key movements? Was I improving my fitness? Any sports I played, was I improving my sporting performance for the sport? And I fell in love with the process fundamentally rather than the outcome, because at the end of the day, looking good, right, and having a good physique, trust me, that takes care of itself if you put in the hard work and get after it on a daily basis.